477.
With the power of Tandem HR, you are in the fast lane on Main Street with Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs. Now, the champion of networking, the advocate of jobs, the guru of business, your host, Shalom Klein.
We are all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. And business, we talk a lot about business here. You are on with Get Down to Business, and I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you can always download podcasts from Get Down to Business on my website at shalomklein.com. And while you are there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. It's going to be a jam-packed week of content and information you will not want to miss. It's a live show. You could call us here in the studio at 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. We are powered by our good friends at Tandem HR, your solution center. Check them out online, tandemhr.com, or give them a call, 630-928-0510. And indeed, this week is all about entrepreneurship. Jam-packed lineup of guests, beginning with my good friend Joseph Prosnitz, who has launched Upride. And Joseph, you have been literally riding the entrepreneurial journey for the past number of years, and I know you've met a number of interesting people and had a number of interesting experiences. Joseph Prosnitz, welcome to Get Down to Business.
Thank you so much, Shalom, for having me on your show. It's been a really amazing couple of years, and I'm really passionate about what I'm doing.
That's fantastic. Well, tell us a little bit. I know entrepreneurship is a journey in itself, and certainly I look forward to asking you a few questions about some of the experiences and the people that you've met along the way. But let's talk specifically about what you've been developing, what you've been raising the funds for, and what you're hoping to bring to market. Tell us a little bit about it.
Sure. So Upride, which is the project I've been working on, is a bicycle accessory that takes the bicycle you already own and allows you to use it as a low-impact elliptical machine. It takes the rotational pedaling of biking and turns it into the standing elliptical stride of running. It's like a bike trainer that allows you to also run. And I came to this because I have juvenile arthritis, and I was really struggling to get the exercise I needed. And elliptical is the most popular form of low-impact fitness. And I also do bicycle nonprofit work in Rogers Park. So I knew a lot about bicycles, and I saw a way to accomplish this, and that kind of kicked off my journey, which has been a whirlwind.
And so Upride, obviously, you have a background where you've been involved beyond your specific product. You've been involved in welding. You've been involved in a lot of interesting things. Does somebody to use the product Upride, do they have to have that same sort of background as you, that welding background, or can a novice take a peek at it as well?
No mechanical knowledge is really required. All you need is, the initial setup takes maybe 10 minutes, but 2 to 5 minutes to put it on your bicycle. You're not modifying your bicycle in any way. You're just clamping it in place and attaching a motion conversion mechanism to your pedals, which is also just clamping to your pedals. So it's not complicated at all. And you can actually see this whole process at www.up-ride.com. That's up-ride.com.
Oh, fantastic. So that sounds like something, even somebody simple like myself, my big accomplishment is changing a toilet seat. It sounds like this is about as easy as that process, which is great. So who is this targeted towards? Obviously, you shared your own experience of why you were using an elliptical at a young age, and it makes sense to have to have your bike be able to turn it into an elliptical. The idea makes sense, Joseph, but who is this targeted towards? Who is your target customer?
There are a lot of millions of Americans with physical challenges. There's millions of Americans with injuries. But I would say anyone who wants convenient, low-impact fitness, I think over half of Americans own a bicycle, and pretty much everyone wants to be in shape. I think especially in extreme climates, whether it's extremely cold or extremely hot, this is a way to get fitness when you want, where you want, between picking up the kids for school or, after a long day of work. Instead of collapsing into the couch, maybe watching your favorite show while ellipticaling, starting your way to fitness.
I love it. We're chatting with Joseph Prosnitz, the founder of Upride, which, of course, as you mentioned, you can find online, up-ride.com. And Joseph, you have been, this has been a life's journey for you where you have been involved in a lot of volunteer activities, a lot of physical competitions and things like that. So it makes sense. You're combining your love for entrepreneurship, your love for welding and mechanical knowledge, and really it's fun to watch. Anybody who's friends with Joseph on Facebook or is connected with you on LinkedIn sees all of the different events that you're participating in as you've been spreading the word and raising the funds for this entrepreneurial venture. So I want to talk a little bit, sort of zooming out, talking about entrepreneurship. Joseph, tell us a little bit about the experience, and I know you've been in this for the past few years. You're raising money right now. You're spreading the word. You're trying to develop the strategic partnerships. What advice would you have for somebody that's starting the entrepreneurial adventure on their own in 2017? What's the first step? Where do you go? And what do you have any regrets? Anything that you've done along the way that maybe you could have done a little bit better?
Sure. I think that I wouldn't be intimidated, but I also would be pretty humble if I were to start this journey over again. I think the journey starts at Google or the library, where you have to do kind of some background research. And you also have to talk with people. I think looking up whether it's a new idea or just a service-based business, talking with people, looking at whatever industry you're interested in, and doing that background research, between, boots on the ground and really understanding the pain point for your customer and also really understanding how the industry you want to get into functions. I think one of the more humbling things is it can be extremely expensive to try to start a business, especially in the physical goods space. And I think you have to kind of be really prepared for a lot of the unknown unknowns, where, especially if you're doing anything mechanical. But in general, there's just things you just will have no idea that you don't know. Maybe it's insurance coverage that you need or a business license that you don't expect. There's a number of organizations that can also advise you, whether it's the Small Business Administrations, which also has an organization called SCORE that will provide retired executives to advise you, or talking with ICNC or MHub or all these other wonderful resources and organizations that really can allow you to be successful pursuing what can sometimes seem like an impossible dream. But I know a lot of people that make a successful career out of having their own small business. My father has a small business. You obviously have a small business as well, and it's totally possible. I think it just requires a lot of grit and persistence and flexibility and willing to kind of adapt to what you're presenting with.
Joseph, are there any entrepreneurs out there or people in business, I should say, that you look to as a role model? Is there anybody that you see them on TV or you read their book and you say, I want to learn from this person and this is the model I want to follow?
Well, I modeled my company after the second largest maker of bicycle components here, actually in Chicago. It's one of the 50 largest companies here. It's called SRAM. And while many people will not have necessarily heard of that, their biggest competitor is Shimano. They control like 10% of the global bicycle accessory market, maybe 20 at this point. But it was two brothers from Northwestern that just decided to have that one-click shifter that when mountain bikes were becoming popular. And, you start with one idea and you run with it. But in general, I would say Elon Musk is pretty inspiring. I don't pretend to be as smart as him, but, really doubling down on a good idea and really, seeing it through, even though people aren't always believers, really being able to see the future and making that a reality is something I think that he embodies and is really powerful.
That's fascinating and inspiring. And is there one part of the business that you especially love? You mentioned earlier, Joseph, that there's so many different pieces of running a business. You mentioned insurance as an example. Is there one piece of the business that you just, when, hopefully very, very soon, you're, the company's off the ground and you're manufacturing products and you have people working for you, is there one piece that you're going to make sure that you're going to continue to own and be responsible for? What do you love about being a business owner?
I really, really enjoy seeing, that little sketch you drew up on a piece of paper becoming a thing. Whether, it becomes a big business or I move on to something else, I think that I will want to continue to do interesting new products. And I just think it's really exciting. Sometimes terrifying, but overall just incredibly satisfying and fulfilling to bring something into reality and then see other people using it and enjoying it or benefiting.
That's fantastic. Joseph, we are just about out of time, and I appreciate you coming on the show this evening. I know our listeners can find you online at up-work.com, up-ride.com, up-ride.com. Be sure to check out Joseph's fantastic product, where you can learn more and find ways to contact our good friend Joseph Prosnitz. Joseph, thanks for joining us on Get Down to Business. We'll be sure to follow your progress and have you back on real soon. But speaking of entrepreneurship, I've got another entrepreneur joining me here in studio. Jeannie Warso is going to talk to us a little bit about Mima. Don't touch that dial, Chicago. We'll be right back.
Stop.